The Galaxy Z Fold 8 Ultra versus the Galaxy Z Fold 7. Has anything actually changed? Let's go. The short answer to that question is yes, with a but. The long answer is not really, also with a but. The Z Fold 8 Ultra. If you were to pick it up without even knowing it was the new phone, you would think it's the Fold 7. But there are things that have been upgraded. Subtle things, nice little quality of life upgrades that have improved it, starting with the design first. Samsung have improved two things about how you open the Fold with the Fold 8 Ultra. The first is the hinge. Samsung have upgraded it to be a bit smoother, but also feel more secure as you are opening it and as you are closing it. It just feels easier to retract it open and closed thanks to the way they've designed it. I can say, as someone who's used the Fold 7 for a year, I definitely felt more confidence in opening the Fold 8 Ultra and that I wasn't going to drop it because of the way it sort of feels better to open. The other design aspect they've improved that helps with this aspect of it is the side rails. I said last year with the Fold 7 that it was too hard to open. It felt like Samsung, in their pursuit of thinness, made it too easy to feel like you were going to drop it as you opened it. You had to be really, really precise with your sort of movements in opening the phone open. The Ultra has fixed that immediately. What Samsung have done is they've built in little grooves on the sides of the phone and made it not actually be touching with the side aluminium, so it actually is easier to dig in there and open it. Feels a lot better, a lot more secure. You have a lot more security about how you're going to open it into that main display. And then once you're in there, you notice some improvements on the folding screen as well. Samsung have boosted the peak brightness to 3000 nits. And alongside that, they've increased the resolution to 422 ppi, meaning it's actually the first time on a foldable have had over 400 ppi on that inner display. So you've got that increased peak brightness, but also a better resolution to view your content on. And they finally have defeated that god-awful crease that everyone seems to be complaining about. I wasn't one of them. I'll maintain that. What they've done is they've built something called a titanium alloy plate. This sits underneath the OLED panel, and the whole purpose of it is to help reduce that crease and reduce the way it develops over time. And you can see it side by side with the Fold 7. The crease is virtually non-existent. However, the Fold 7 is under 1 year of usage, 1 year of being closed and open multiple times. We'll wait and see with the Fold 8 Ultra how it develops over the usage. It might get better, it might not. We'll wait and see. Something that might go unnoticed with the display is Samsung have actually put in an anti-reflective property about it. So under direct light or harsh lighting outside, you're going to see less reflections. So much better than the very, very reflective Fold 7 screen from last generation. Fold 8 Ultra improves on that, and it kind of brings what was great about the flagship Slab Ultra to the foldables for the first time, which is very nice. Even though Samsung have upgraded the design of the Fold 8 Ultra to be a little bit more secure in your hands, you'll still want to make sure it's protected from the start. You can do that with a case from BERFY. The Z Fold 8 Ultra case from BERFY provides your Fold with all-round protection. It not only has hinge protection, but it also has a built-in screen protector that has a privacy display filter built right in. So if you are looking at content, you can be confident that no one else can peek in on what you are looking at. As well as protecting the display with that screen protector, but also with the lip around the sides, the protection extends into the camera as well. A built-in slider allows you to capture the photos when you need to and keeps your camera private when you don't. And it closes with a satisfying click. As well as protection, the case provides convenience. A built-in kickstand into the back panel means you can enjoy your content on the big screen without having to compromise on the form factor, and enjoy the big moment in whatever it is that you're watching. Get your BERFY case for the Z Fold 8 Ultra today using the link in the description, and thank you to BERFY for sponsoring this video. The cameras are where we head to next from a hardware point of view, and they've improved the cameras. Not as much as I probably would have hoped. You still have the same 200 megapixel main camera with the same f1.7 aperture. Samsung haven't brought in the f1.4 aperture from the S26 Ultra. It stays f1.7. But what it does get is the new 50 megapixel ultra-wide camera from the S26 Ultra. So that f1.9 aperture with the bigger sensor and the bigger resolution is on the Z Fold 8 Ultra. Also, it gets some of the new software features that are tied to the new chip, which I'll go into in a moment. You've got the APV codec, which should give you enhanced video recording capabilities. And alongside with that too, you get all the LUT previews, but we've seen that already with oneui 8.5. But the APV video codec is definitely the main one for the camera that gives the camera that extra shooting capability. There's some other things too. You get access to the 24 megapixel default resolution through Camera Assistant, something that the Fold 7 still hasn't got from a software point of view. And there's some upgrades to dual recording with some nice toggles allowing for recording in 16:9 next to each other, which I'll go into in my oneui 9 video, which you can go check out. And there's some AI editing stuff too once you've recorded video, but you can see that in the flip video that I've made. But outside of that, the cameras feel underwhelming, especially the fact that they've kept the main camera the same, but also the 3x camera has had no upgrade whatsoever. There's no telephoto lens that extends beyond maybe to 5x, and there's no high resolution for it either. So it's that same 10 megapixel 3x camera from last year before, and it just feels underwhelming. Just feels like neglect at this point. It's like having 2 children and investing so heavily in their futures, and then you have a third and you're like, well, I don't know what to do with it. It's like, give it something. I don't know. From a performance standpoint, we get the obvious bump to the Snapdragon 8 Gen Elite 5 for Galaxy. I've probably mixed up the order, but that's what we're getting, which we all expected. That was something that when you saw it on the S26 Ultra, we knew it was going to come to the Fold 8 or the Fold 8 Ultra now as we know it later on in the year, and that's a reality. And we all kind of knew that we were getting a battery bump. The 5,000 milliamp hour capacity paired with new 45 watt super fast charging. I wish it was 65 watt, but 45 watt will be nice. We all kind of expected that to come as well. That's going to be a big upgrade over the 4,400 milliamp hour capacity from here and the 25 watt fast charging. What we weren't, however, expecting is Samsung to actually be using silicon carbon batteries for the first time. They have been very cautious with their approach in how much silicon they're using inside this new battery technology, but they have told us it's there. So it could obviously allow them to increase the capacity and keep the phone slim. But with their cautious approach, it means they haven't overextended it. They probably could have gone to 6,000, but maybe the stability of the battery might not have been there over the lifespan of the phone. Keeping in mind, these have 7 generations of OS upgrades. So Samsung want to make sure the phone can last that distance. And putting a tiny amount of silicon in there can maybe help them with that. But it's the starting point of their silicon carbon journey, and I, for one, am glad to see it. We will see what the 600 milliamp hours extra over the Fold 7 does. I think it's desperately needed that it had that bigger capacity after using this for a year, so I'll be very excited to see what it does in day-to-day usage. And then hopefully in the next generation, they can push it even further. The chip for me is the big deal. That is the one that I think makes the big difference when it comes to the foldable experience. Because not only does it allow for better performance, you get faster performance out of video editing and sort of that high creative tasks, but it also gives you the fact that the camera has better processing and allows for better stuff too. Outside of that though, there isn't much more really to talk about. There's no S Pen technology. Samsung haven't brought that back, which is a bit of a shame. And there was no upgrades to the cameras that I think a lot of people were maybe hoping for. But it's a nice upgrade, kind of. There could have been more, but it is definitely an improvement. And I'm looking forward to getting my hands on it properly and using it over a longer period of time. Samsung does, however, seem to have put a lot of their energy into the standard Fold 8. And I, for one, think it's quite incredible what they've achieved with that one. Go check out that video and go check out all the others. Hit subscribe to Tech with Benefits. Lots more Samsung coverage on its way. Make sure you use the link in the description for your Fold 8 Ultra case. And I'll see you guys in the next one. You!